Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Jesse. You're watching JLS Comics, and thanks for pressing play. Today I want to tell you about a movie that I just had the pleasure of seeing this morning called Batman Gotham by Gaslight. It's the latest installment in the DC animated series of movies. Just came out on January 23rd of this year. Hard R rating for it, just under an hour and 20 minutes. I think it came in right at the hour and 18-minute mark. In fact, it was also directed by Sam Liu. The story is based on a one-shot from 1989, one of the first, or it's actually considered the first Elseworld story for DC Comics. It was written by Brian Augustyn with art by Mike Mignola. If you're not familiar with Mike Mignola, he's done work, he did a Hellboy and BPRD, to name a couple of others. And in that, you have Batman. He's traveling through Europe. He's coming back to Gotham, and he meets an old family friend named Jacob. He gets back to Gotham, and Gordon tells him that Jack the Ripper's in town. Gets evidence planted, and, Batman is arrested. He's sent to Gotham, and he has to find out who Batman is. It turns out in that story that it's Jacob, the friend that he met at the beginning. But let me tell you something, that is not a spoiler, because that is not what happens in this animated film. And that's one of the things I like about it. Whether you're coming into it new or you're familiar with that Elseworld story, it doesn't matter, because it still gives you some good surprises there. You have, basically, it's Victorian era, late 19th century, and I say late 19th century specifically, late 1800s, because there was a reference to Antietam, which was a really famous, bloody, horrific Civil War battle. One of the characters had actually fought in that battle. Hadn't aged too long since then, so you're talking probably about somewhere in the 1870s to 1880s when this takes place. And I really like it. It's Victorian steampunk murder mystery. Batman's in Gotham City, of course. You have Jack the Ripper's in town. There's going to be the opening of one of the first World's Fairs, and that's threatened because of this violence, and just the whole town, the whole city being worried about Jack the Ripper. But coincidentally, his friend Selina Kyle is also looking for Jack the Ripper, so they cross paths a few times. You get some cool stuff in here with Batman, his gear. He's got a really cool motorcycle. He's got like a grappling hook that he shoots up a couple times, and it's a Victorian take, let's call it that, on his Batman costume. So that's pretty cool. There's some big surprises, some big reveals. In the third act, there's a big battle. There's like this whole dirigible that's above Gotham, and it's pretty intense with that, and I like that. It earns its R rating, definitely, with the violence. There's some graphic nature to it with the bloodiness to it, some curse words, things like that. So, but it does learn the lesson from a couple of other films that recently came out. I'm talking about The Killing Joke and Batman and Harley Quinn, two animated movies that really relied on a more lustful, hypersexualized version of a couple of the characters, and people didn't respond well to it. So they tamed that for this film, and I like that. I like the actors that were chosen. You had Bruce Greenwood playing Batman, reprising his role as Batman. As a matter of fact, he was Batman in Young Justice. He also did Under the Red Hood. He was Batman, a voice actor for Batman in that, and I like that. He's good. It wasn't Kevin Conroy, but Bruce Greenwood is right up there with him, in my opinion. So good. And then we had Jennifer Carpenter, who was the voice actor for Selina Kyle. She's most famous for her role in Dexter, but she was also the voice of Black Widow in Avengers Confidential. So that's cool. And then you get this whole cast of characters that appear in here. You have Barbara Gordon, you have Alfred, Harvey Dent, Ivy shows up, Hugo Strange, there's a street kid, they keep calling him Jason, and all I can think of is Jason Todd. So there's plenty of candidates there, plenty of people built around Batman that could potentially be the Jack the Ripper. So you have a lot of people you have to filter through the clues and pair them up and see. But I will tell you, it's not what I expected. I was surprised, and I'm happy I was surprised but the choice that was chosen as the main villain, the Jack the Ripper character, I was kind of taken aback by it, and I'm like, no. So I was a little happy that I was surprised, but disappointed with the reveal at the same time. So that's what I like about that. Very strong voice acting, and I just mentioned that with Bruce and Jennifer. Visually, the movie was really cool. Really felt like a true DC animated film. Very heavy influence with Bruce Timm, who actually lended his voice for the film as well. He was a radio announcer. It was a much lighter take on Gotham. The original Elseworld story was very dark, very muddy, and very atmospheric. This was lightened up quite a bit, which I think was a good choice. Stylistically, it was allowing them to show details that maybe would have been shadowed out otherwise. And I will say this is the best of the recent DC animated series. So cool characters that I mentioned. Some of them, I guess, were kind of at risk of being underdeveloped, but again, you're playing with about an hour and 18 minutes. So overall, I had fun with it. I liked it. What do I give it for a rating? I give it 3.5 out of 5, or if you're talking about a 10-point scale, we're gonna go with 7 out of 10. Check it out. Let me know what you thought, and put your comments in the comments down below. That's it, guys. This is Jesse with another movie review, and I'll see you in the next video.